story I want to share today is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's by C.S. Lewis. Do you believe in magic? I do. Magic brings us infinite imagination and pleasure. Now, follow me. Let's open the door to this magic world, Narnia. The story is about 4 children. They are Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. They are sent away from London to live with an art professor during the war. The house of the art professor is very old, but it has many rooms inside. There is a wardrobe in one of the rooms. While exploring the house, the children find out a magic world, Narnia, inside the wardrobe. Now, let me introduce the characters. Peter. He is the eldest child. He is righteous and stubborn, so he always quarrels with Edmund. And when he knows that Lucy is not lying to him, he apologizes to Lucy. But what I learned that it is easier to fix the problems when you admit your mistake. Susan is the second youngest child. She is a rational person and like their mother takes care of her brothers and sisters. And when she encounters problems, she will calm down and focus on her problems. I like what she says to Edmund and Peter. She says that things won't be any better having a row between you two. I cannot agree with her more. Edmund is an important character. He is the second youngest child. He is known to be a liar. He likes to pick on children who are younger than him, even his sister Lucy. The biggest defect of Edmund is he cannot control his desire and emotion. Lucy is the youngest child. For some respects, she is the protagonist of the story. She is honest and responsible. The problem is, sometimes her ideas are not constructive. I find that their relationships is very interesting, especially Peter and Edmund. We know they quarrel a lot, but when Edmund wants to do something, you will convince Peter first. You might think that is very weird, but I think that is because they fight a lot, so they know each other well. Next, we know Edmund likes to tease on children who are younger than him, and he often targets Lucy. The reason is, I think, when Edmund does something wrong, Peter will be pretty mean to him, and Edmund has no way to let his anger out, so he takes it out on other children. Luckily, Susan always helps to solve the problem between them. Next are my inspiration from the story. Lucy is the first child who gets into Narnia. When she came out, she just wanted to tell everyone, but no one trusts her. They even laugh at her. That is pretty bad. In my experience, I see many people that deny things that look impossible. But remember, nothing is impossible. When things really happen, they regret. What I learned is that there is still a lot of things we haven't discovered, so do not deny quickly. This is one of my favorite chapters. When Peter and Susan go to tell the professor about Lucy's crazy ideas, the professor listens patiently and asks them who is more trustful. I think most of the doubts will just refuse them or just give them a simple answer. That is a pretty smart way to answer. Tell me, what do you see in this picture? You might think this is a cute robin, but what if it turns into a scary monster next second? Edmund asks this question when Lucy brings them to follow the robin. She thinks they should not follow an animal that they do not know. Maybe he just envies Lucy, but the logic is right. This is when Edmund goes to the White Witch's house alone. The story emphasizes on Edmund. Edmund knows he is betraying his siblings, but he starts to making excuses in his own mind. He cannot control his desire. Many people are just like that. They know what they do is wrong, but they cannot stop. That is the problem. What I learned is only you can control yourself, so try to make your mind stronger. When I started reading this book, I was very curious why they taken me to Narnia, not the professor. The professor lives in the house longer than the children. Then I found out some reason. They are children. I think their lives are not as complicated as adults. And the third reason is very important. They love to discover new things. For those, I think they are the best risk takers. Do you believe in magic? Hopefully, you do by now. I was fascinated by the story. The story brings me joy and great ability to form pictures in my mind. I think I was also in Narnia when I read the book. I learned a lot of words to use when you talk to the royal family, like the White Witch, and also some vocabulary to express myself better. Actually, I read this book when I was little, but at that time I just thought it's interesting. Just all. Now, this time, I pay attention on the interaction between people. That's the best way of this book. It brings different feeling for people at different age. So, at the end, I just want to tell I love reading books, and books is just like a passport. They can bring you to everywhere. Thank you.
Do anyone have question? Yeah, so I have some question too. Do anyone knows what's the character of Lucy? Characteristic of Lucy. Eric Mark, can you give some answer? Yep.
And she is a truth girl.
Okay, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, the next question is, what do the Anne feel when she reads the books Narnia? Do anyone know the answer? Ronnie, Ronnie, can you give us some answer?
She feels
Interesting. Okay. Okay, now it's the evaluation time, and welcome Chen Guoyou to give some evaluation.
Good evening, Anne. So, Anne, I'm curious why you choose to make the presentation alone.
When the teacher tells me it's just like that, so I listen alone.
All right. So then, both of you are in charge of teach all of these kids, right?
Yeah.
All right. You know, I'm very impressed with actually by the PPT that you made. You know, even though for students in Kaohsiung Zhongxue, you know, the layout of the PPT, they don't work so well like you are doing right now. That's very good of you. I guess that we should complete this pitch to Wilson. Good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And all right, so you have a very good layout of PPT, easy, clear, so we help for all the audience to read. Very good one. And besides, you have a very good eye contact. You are not a robot. All right, so you know you can switch from to different corner of the classroom. All right, very good of you. Good eye contact. And also, I wondered, you know, you have very beautiful pronunciation. How you practice your English?
At the beginning, I would have very bad English. But so when I read the book, I try to practice how our teacher says. So now I'm made a lot of progress.
All right, good of you, good of you. And, you know, now I want to give you some of my suggestions. So now, you know you are a speaker, right?
Yes.
So then, you know, everyone actually, they have their eye on you, right? So can you change your outfit?
Okay.
All right, if you can get dressed in a different way, you know, it seems like you will make your presentation more different. Okay, here's my first suggestion. And second, you know, some of your pronunciation, like I noticed that you said respect. Actually, the P sound after S, we pronounce respect. Like another word like spy. All right. So you will often hear quite a lot of students they say experience. No, we say experience. So the sound, the P sound, you know, sounds like a little bit like a B sound. Okay. And you pronounce desire, but actually it should be pronounced desire. All right. And also, your presentation, actually you build a very good structure, but you still have a weak hook. All right. So next time you have some other chance, go, you know, watch the TED Talk. You know that great speaker, they all have very good hooker. All right. Okay. All right. That's my suggestion for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on a very beautiful presentation, very clear. I have to praise that you use really good vocabulary for your presentation, something that I told you once before. I think this is the key of improvement. When you try to force yourself to do better and better and improve vocabulary, but just to keep yourself at the level you are, trying to go for more. I think that's really, really good. It was much more natural also than previously. Really, really good the way you follow the suggestions during these days. Really, really good. It's a huge change. It sounds beautiful and it sounds spontaneous, but at the same time sounds very well prepared. It's a really nice balance in your presentation. I'm a big fan of something you did, and you talk about the story, real life, and your own opinions. Because when we read stories, that's what all of us should do sometime, no? Let's just read the story and have fun, which is the first purpose, but also to say or to see how this story can help us or understand what is going on around in the real world. And your opinion, obviously, it's really, really nice, that structure. Talking about Edmund's logic, it let us see that you see how deep it can be a book, when it's a good logic he used, and also about the control of desires, when he cannot control his desire for Turkish delight, right? And how does it affect people? And then you giving us a really good suggestion about how can we control our minds, no? And I will give you a little suggestion. It's very, very, very simple. When you're introducing characters, you have to be a little, let's say, delicate with the order you are introducing them. Because, for example, when you introduce Peter, isn't it? You said Peter always tell Edmund and Lucy something, but we didn't know who was Edmund and Lucy yet. Do you know what I mean? So you can say at that point, you can say he always tells his siblings or his little brother and sister, yeah, something, because you haven't introduced Lucy and Edmund. So at that time when you are talking about new characters that people don't know, it will be a little confusing. But it's just a very little thing to improve. It's just to make sure that you only mention names after you already introduce those characters. Yeah. And something, the closing of your presentation is excellent. I always tell almost all the students we have a little problem closing our presentations, and you did very well. It was really, really nice closing lecture. You know your presentation is done, it's finished. It was really, really good. So thank you so much, and congratulations.